A country filled with losses and losses. I'm talking prophets and coffins. And I listened when the prophets were talking about kids sidewalking while police are chalking another senseless victim on because the next man killed them, or mass murder scenes depicted on TV screens, the wails of mother screams, families divided, drug dealers and dope fiends, businesses robbed, homes burglarized, a whole race generalized, minimized, and deemed uncivilized. And it was initialized by the forefathers who unionized this nation of marches and protests over race relations, black boys killed over hoodies and loud music, given the right to self-defend, but minorities not allowed to use it. The separation of church and state, but where's the division unless you mean the separation of our nation caused by politics and religion? Another teen impregnated, the father incarcerated, grandma at home praying that her grandson is exonerated. The prophet spoke of children born and raised illegitimate, ill-advised, and illiterate. A generation of degenerates running wild and belligerent. The prophecy spoke of women who wanted equal respect and women who did not respect themselves, and kids no older than age 12 being molested and abused. They were too afraid to tell. They were too ashamed to get help. The prophet spoke on the unemployment rates rising and the hope of people subsiding, leading to the onset of violent crimes and more people dying. The prophet said, bitterness in life only breeds more attention, but do not expect more jobs. Watch them build more prisons. They will not even focus on help for the homeless. Thousands of people surviving on the streets, living hungry and hopeless. Mortgage scams and foreclosures, gentrification and bulldozers. That means a corporation will buy out a whole neighborhood to bulldoze, demolishing low-income homes for high-rise condos, phone taps and government surveillance, hospitals filled with AIDS and cancer patients, emergency rooms filled with the sick and wounded, but they are just waiting because doctors only help those who paid insurance payments. Classified files and memorandums of planned attacks and propaganda. The prophet said the government will overlook the needy to help out the bankers. Of children considered thugs and gangsters by newspapers and news anchors. Privileges for the rich and high class because the middle isn't high enough in. Just bypass the low class, police harassment, scripted reenactments just for public reactions, but it'll only be a distraction because when people are more concerned with police reports and court dockets or the competition of political office campaigns or a party's caucus, you will turn a blind eye to the hands reaching in your pockets. The shrinkage of bank deposits mean less money for groceries in your wallets, unwarranted rockets and missile attacks. Security breaches and agency hacks, missing children, unidentified corpses, martial law, no habeas corpus. If a police officer kills a black man, then it's justified and he's innocent. They call it a work-related incident. A slap on the wrist is the only consequence. Courtrooms with no interest in public opinions and state's evidence. But for us, innocence has no bearing on a possible life sentence, like more schools and less graduates, or food and water supply contaminants, prophecies of labor exploitation and increased taxation, politicians receiving large donations while parents are spectating, children at home suffering from starvation. But people will not see any correlations like drug addicts and codependents or witnesses and co-defendants. Freedom will only be an illusion when you're guilty unless otherwise proven. No reparations, no restitution. A future where being yourself makes you less than human, like civil wars and civil rights movements, gay marriages and civil unions. Life, but no liberty. Happiness is the only pursuance, where it will be dependent on the gender of the companion you are choosing, whether or not it will be considered a legal marriage institution. Prophecies of unsung heroes and forgotten militants, the smuggling of illegal immigrants and illegal stimulants, families separated in family courts, rulings enforced over divorce and child support, news reports on foreign wars, but it's conspired and coerced, meaning terrorist attacks that were pre-planned and rehearsed, a country filled with losses and losses. I'm talking prophets and coffins. And I listened when the prophets were talking. They said to me, what will be already is. But a man cannot control a future he does not know is his.